Welcome to the Style and Grace podcast, maintaining mental health and tackling real life issues with honesty and compassion. Where style meets substance and grace meets real life experiences.
Hey, y'all. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of the Style and Grace podcast. I'm your host, Whitney Victoria. And if you are new here, this is a space where we talk about real life experiences that shape us into who we are becoming. And first things first, y'all, I want to say thank you so much for your patience. I believe it's been about 3 weeks since I released an episode, and that episode was the live podcast segment of the Grace Gathering. Let me know if y'all enjoyed that. Send me a DM. But also, during this time, I've been taking time to slow down and reflect. I'm also in a season of transition. And so during this time, I came across a passage in Luke that really blessed me. In Luke 14 verses 15 to 23 specifically, which is a parable of the Great Banquet. And I'm telling you, this passage really sat with me. It challenged me, it humbled me, and honestly, y'all, it made me ask myself some real life questions because sometimes we say we trust God, but are we really trusting him though? Or are we just used to figuring everything out ourselves? That's me all day. I'm so used to trying to take care of everything. So today, I want to reflect on this passage and share what it meant for me in this season of my life. So let me set the scene for you. Luke 14, Jesus is actually sitting at a dinner with when this conversation happens. Someone at the table makes a comment about how blessed it would be to eat in the kingdom of God. And Jesus responds by telling a story. He says, there was a man who prepared a great banquet. Everything was ready, the table was set, the food was prepared, and invitations had already gone out to the guests. But when it's time for the guests to come, the guests started making excuses. One of the guests said, hey, I just bought a field and I need to go tend to my field. Another guest was like, yo, I just brought 5 oxen and I need to test them out. Another guy was like, hey, I just got married. And what really stood out to me is this: none of those things were bad. They weren't doing anything sinful. They were not rebelling. They were just busy. And if we're honest, that's where a lot of us live. We live in busyness, busy with life, busy with work, busy trying to make things happen, busy trying to figure everything out. And before we know it, we become so consumed with managing life that we actually forget to sit with God. And that part hit me, right? And what really blessed me about the passage is the response from the master. And the master was the one hosting the banquet. When he invited the guest who made excuses, the master did not cancel the banquet. He didn't say, never mind. Instead, he told his servant to go out into the streets and invite the poor, the blind, the crippled, and the lame. And when there was still room at the table, he said something powerful. He told his servant to go back out to the roads and to the country lanes and compel people to come in so that his house would be full. And when I read that part, it reminded me of something. God desires a full house. He desires people. He desires relationship. And the invitation to be in relationship with him is still going out. And for my personal reflection, and here's why the passage really challenged me personally, because I had to ask myself a question. Am I ever so busy trying to figure out things on my own that I forget to actually trust God? Yeah, I do. And if I'm being honest, the answer is yes, right? And I can find myself in a place where I'm trying to solve everything, trying to plan everything, trying to make things happen on my own. And then I catch myself saying things like, Lord, I trust you. But do you really though, Whitney? Or am I just so used to getting things done myself without really seeking him first? And sometimes we say we trust God, but our actions show that we are still holding on to the steering wheel. And I'm learning in this season that trusting God means releasing control. It means not having all the answers. It means not needing to figure everything out before moving forward. And that's not always easy, especially when you're someone who's used to being responsible, used to making things happen, used to carrying it all. But what I'm realizing is that God never asks us to carry everything. And especially to my eldest daughters. Huh. I'm going to say it again. But what I'm realizing is that God is never asking us to carry everything. And another thing that really stood out to me in this parable is who ended up coming to the banquet. It wasn't the people who he originally invited or the people who originally received the invitation. It was the people who probably would have never expected to be invited in the first place. The overlooked, the forgotten, the ones society may have canceled out. And that part reminded me that the kingdom of God is not about status. It's not about looking perfect. It's not about having it all together. It's about being willing, willing to respond, willing to come, being willing to accept the invitation. And sometimes the people who think they deserve a seat at the table miss it, while the people who never expected to be there receive it with gratitude. And that humbled me because it reminded me that none of us are entitled to grace because grace is a gift. None of us are entitled to grace. Grace is a gift. So here's a question for all of us, right? What excuses have we made that sound responsible but are actually distractions? Maybe it's work, maybe it's relationships, maybe it's the stress, maybe it's your sickness, maybe it's trying to control outcomes. Again, none of those things are necessarily bad, but they become dangerous when they take the place of the connection with God. And y'all, I'm working on that. I promise you I am. And I don't want to be so busy building my life that I miss the one who gave it to me. And if you're listening today and you're feeling overwhelmed, trying to figure it out, trying to carry everything on your own, and y'all, I'm talking to myself too, let this be a reminder. You do not have to do life by yourself. But I'm going to say that again. You do not have to do life by yourself. However, make sure you're being intentional of who's doing life with you. God is still inviting you to the table. God is calling you into a relationship. And God is making room for you, okay? And the only thing that is required is a willingness, not perfection, just willingness. And y'all, I hope that blessed you, okay, as it blessed me. Now, before wrapping up today's episode, I want to share something exciting. As you know, I am partnering with Be Fragrance, an amazing, phenomenal fragrance company. And if you're someone who loves perfume, but sometimes you're not sure what scent works best for you, they have a discovery set that allows you to try the fragrances before committing to a full bottle. And if you want to check them out, use my code Whitney10 for a percentage off your order. And I'll also have that information in the show notes as well. Also, some of y'all have asked for it. And yes, the Grace Gathering 2 is coming soon. More details are coming in the next few weeks, and I promise you, you don't want to miss it. If you missed the first one, this will be an opportunity for you to be in the room. Vendors, get ready. I am here for it, and I'm excited for what's coming. And as always, y'all, thank y'all so much for listening. Thank you for supporting, and thank you for growing with me. And as you know, here is where style meets substance and grace meets real life experiences. Until next time, I love y'all in real life. Bye.